Hi everyone, my name is David Wallimann. Today is Wednesday, and that means that it's Q&A day. We're kicking off this year with a new schedule. If you haven't seen that video, it's the last video that I uploaded, and you can know all about the new schedule. Wednesday, today is Q&A. I will answer some of the questions that you guys have left me below. So if you want to be featured on the next episode, leave your question below. I might pick it and answer it. These questions are taken from the previous Q&A session, which was a few months back. I took a break from the Q&As, so I had some unanswered questions. There's no particular organization to these. Those are just questions, and I'll just answer them. So sit back, relax, and let's get to some questions. This first question is a loaded one because it can get complex, but I'll try to make it simple and hopefully interesting and inspiring. This one is from Shane Bromfield, and he's asking me, what do you think about following chords versus playing over the key? So basically what Shane is asking me is my thoughts on either taking a chord progression and taking each chord of this progression individually, and when I'm improvising, thinking in terms of highlighting some notes of the chords and taking each chords as different blocks, as opposed to taking a chord progression, hoping that those chords are from the same key. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a masterclass on that. Check the masterclass session. And instead of seeing each chord as different blocks to improvise over, I will group these chords into a single key, find my key, my position, and just go for it. I think it's beneficial to know and understand how both of these approaches work. The chordal approach, where you're taking one chord at a time, will allow you to really blend into what is being heard on the backing track. And also, if you only take it as different chords, you are pretty much safe from completely falling musically when there's a modulation, a change of key, because you're just following the chords. Therefore, you don't have that extra difficulty that might come if you're grouping these chords and then one time there's that one chord that is not in the key, and that might create some problems. However, the disadvantage, I think, of just playing over chords is that your improvisation might be a little bit too scolar, too proper might not be the good word, but that's the word I'll use, too proper, too expected, and not as interesting as you would want it to be. It's going to match the chords, it's going to fit perfectly, it's going to be melodic, but it might miss that. Sorry, I forgot to mute that. Maybe that's another question. We'll see. Anyways, yes, I was saying that if you just follow the chords, that might be a little too expected. So I would do both. But eventually, when you improvise, when you get to a point where when your fingers are moving, you know exactly what is going to be the outcome. In other words, the parallel is when I'm talking to you, I don't have to think of the way that I place my tongue to produce that particular sound. It just comes out. The thoughts come out automatically. Eventually, it should be like that. It shouldn't be like you trying to find the noun, the verb, and all that one after the other. It just flows. And that's what should happen, I think, eventually. And it will happen if you do some ear training. So it depends on the approach and the style of music. So to answer your question, if I'm in front of a jazz piece that I've never played before, and I have a real book in front of me, I would follow the chords, because my mind is not geared towards analyzing all the chords into blocks. It takes a little bit more time, and if you have to play right away, I would just follow the chords. However, if you're playing over something like a blues or something like that, then try to do both, but you can get away with bringing everything to the same key. Does that make sense? I hope so. So thanks for your question. Thank you very much. This one is from TZ Kevo. He's asking me, can you explain time signatures? Yeah, I'm actually wanting to do a full video on that. Maybe it'll fall in the masterclass session. But briefly, a time signature is made of two numbers, a top number and a bottom number. And the top number will give you the number of beats per bar. So if you have a 3 on top, then you're gonna be counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? If you have a 4 on the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. The bottom number is giving you the nature of the note of that number that you're counting. So if you're counting 1, 2, 3, and the bottom is 8, that means that you have 3/8 notes in a bar. If the bottom number is 4, 3/4 notes. And that kind of gives you an idea of the speed. A 3/8 could also be a 3/4, but that will change the tempo. I'm gonna make a full video on that. It's a great question. But just remember, the top number is the number of times you count before a new bar starts. The bottom number gives you the nature of the note, the type of note. An 1/8, a 1/4, a 1/16. I'll make a full video. I'll have a few ideas, so keep an eye for that one. Thank you for your question. All right, this next question is gonna be with Sloan because she wants to be in the video, and I don't wanna edit this too much, so say hi. Okay, next question is from Mr. Razor's Reviews, and he's asking me, I saw you were listed as a Chapman guitar artist. Yes, but I never see you play it or talk about it. Yes, guilty. It's not what you think. I like Chapman guitars, and I got a chance to. The first Chapman I tried was probably about 6-7 years ago at NAMM. That's when I met Rob. I don't know what that is. That's when I met Rob Chapman and became friends and talked about it. I tried the prototype for the ML1, and I thought it was really, really good for the price. And then years passed, still friends and everything, and eventually I met him again at NAMM, and this time he had an official booth at NAMM and tried a bunch of guitars, and we talked about an endorsement type of thing. And I had to pick a guitar. I didn't know what to pick because they were all great, and at the time, and still today, I'm not the type of player who really gets into gear and tone and woods and the type of neck, and I'm an idiot. I don't really know. And I never really spend time. I should, because that would be beneficial. But anyways, Rob being in the UK, it was really hard for me to decide which guitar to get. And so I decided to get something different, a 7-string. And I got a 7-string. That's the one video that I did with Chapman guitars. It was the ML7, and I thought it was great. And I used it, and then I thought I wanted to do something different with 7 strings, and I did a song and then started a project which never really kicked off, and then went back to my teaching gig with the 6-string, my Ibanez and all that. And years passed, and then I saw that 7-string for Black Friday. It was an Ibanez. It was a killer deal. I had to get it, and I got it, and I tried it, and I felt that it felt better to me. That 7-string felt better. They're different specs. So the Chapman is a little bit thicker than the Sabre, Ibanez Sabre 7-string that I got. And I really just fell in love with Ibanez. But the cool thing with Chapman is that he understands that as musicians, you can play with many different guitars, and that's okay. It's not an exclusive type of thing. I got a discount with Chapman. If I buy his guitars, I don't get free guitars. I get a discount. So if I need something, I'll get it. I actually got a Chapman bass because I wanted a bass in the studio. And I ended up not having to use it for that project, but I kept it, so I might use it later. But yeah, as far as 6 strings, really, I'm in love with my Ibanez also. And at this point, I'm not playing. Ibanez seems to fit what I want, but there's nothing weird with Chapman. We're good friends, and it's all good. Thanks for asking that. Okay, the next one is from Stefan Poulin. And so these are questions, babe. These are questions that people ask. Okay, so I'm answering them. He's asking me, hello, just getting started with researching for my home studio, and was wondering if you could do a video on my home studio equipment. I will do one. And basically the question is, you give some thoughts on some essentials to get started. Yes, so you don't need much really to get started, especially today with technology. You need a computer. You don't need a computer, but my recommendation would to be to get a computer. I'm on Mac. Nothing against PC, but I just don't know much about the PC world. I'll talk from my experience. You can get a Mac laptop or desktop or just a computer with a decent sound card. Get an external sound card, a computer, an external sound card, and a digital audio workstation. That's the software that will allow you to record anything through that external sound card. And that's all you need, really. And then you upgrade from there. You get maybe monitors, some nice monitors. You can use your headphones, but then you get monitors. And then you get MIDI keyboard. That's, I think, probably the absolute essentials would be a computer, sound interface, that's your sound card, an external one, USB, and a MIDI keyboard. And from there, you'll be able to control all your software instruments and start recording. And I'll make a full video on it, but those are the essentials. Let's get the next question. You bored? It's pretty boring, huh? You want to go out? Okay, hang on, I'll be back. Here we go. Bye. Thought that would happen. Next question is from for Guitar 996. What's a good way to build speed while improvising? My friend Robert Baker just made a video on this topic. Most teachers say, oh, play slow, play slow, play slow. If you want to go fast, you got to play slow. Well, no, I agree with Robert's point of view. However, playing slow will not help you play fast, but it will allow you to fix some of the fretting mistakes that you might have or the positioning that you might have. But if you want to play fast, I would play fast. Just play fast, and then that'll teach you how to actually play fast and then clean up your playing by going back and working slow to correct some of the things that you might hear when you're playing fast that don't work. Repetition is a good thing. Work at a comfortable speed, not too fast, not too slow, but something that is comfortable to you, and repetition to build that finger memory and go from there. But really the number one tip is just do it. Just do it. Record yourself, see what works, what doesn't work, and make sure that you know your positions. You can do that slower. Don't learn your positions at a faster speed. Your fingers need to know exactly where to go. It needs to be embedded into your left hand and go from there. But I'm not a super fast player, but that's what I would do to develop that speed. Okay, the next question is from Cias, or Skias, I don't know if it's silent C, asking me how much inspiration do you take from players like Guthrie Govan or other players? Some, not a huge amount, not because I don't want to be influenced by other guitar players at all. It's just the way it is. I don't listen to tons of music. I love music. I love listening to it, but I don't listen to tons of it because of my schedule and my life and all that. But I get inspiration. Most of the inspiration comes from either stories, like a movie or a book, or just stories, or emotional / spiritual experiences. Evolving Seas of Glory is a perfect example. And if you don't know about the story, I uploaded a full audio commentary of the album. So if you want to know what's going on there, I will link to it at the end of the video. But yeah, mostly from my faith and from stories also. But yes, I love Guthrie, and there's tons of other players that I really love. And right now I'm listening to the 25th anniversary release of Passion and Warfare, rediscovering the album, and it's amazing. And I'm kind of getting some ideas from it. So yeah, definitely. And the last question is from Rogers Guitars and Stuff, and he's asking me to explain want to talk a little bit about my experience with guitar synths and show you guys what I have. Yeah, so guitar synths have been a dream of mine for a long time. I've always loved the idea of being able to play the flute or the clarinet or just wind instruments, I don't know, violin or whatever, on my guitar. Always wanted to do that. I actually got a Roland MIDI synth a few years back. The tracking was not as good as I thought it would be, and then I tried the U-Rock guitar, and that didn't really work for me very well. There's also a review on my channel. For legato players, it should work pretty well. Tom loves it. Tom Quayle loves it, but I didn't really love it until I tried the Fishman triple play, and that really, to me, today is the best MIDI guitar equipment that you can get. You don't have to drill anything. It's wireless. The tracking is really good. Really like it, and it does the job. It's not perfect. I don't think MIDI guitar system will ever be perfect without redesigning the guitar completely, but it's, for me, it's the best thing out there. The second best would be a software. It's called MIDI Guitar, and I've reviewed that on my channel. It's purely software. I thought it worked really well, but my top is the triple play, and it's really, really good. That's it for today's questions. Thanks for watching it. I hope you found something interesting in there. If you want to ask me a question, ask below, and I'll pick some of the questions, answer them next Wednesday. And hopefully this video is interesting to you guys. Thank you for your support. Come back Friday around 10 a.m. US Mountain Time. I've got the wildcard video, which is a video that doesn't fit the masterclass section or the Q&A section. And this Friday, you'll get one. You'll see. You have to come Friday. Thank you. Subscribe if you haven't, and watch more videos. I like that. See you next time. Salut.